Spoiler alert! Leaked iOS 14 code just revealed Apple's upcoming software and product lineup. There's so much to unpack over here, so I'm breaking it all down for you on today's Apple Core. Remember when that Apple employee left his iPhone 4 prototype at a bar back in 2011 and basically spoiled the surprise? This leak is at that level, if not even bigger. This week, rumor site 9to5Mac claims to have gotten a glimpse of the unreleased code of iOS 14, and it apparently holds a treasure trove of information. Let's start with the source of the leak, iOS 14. According to the report, there's going to be a new way of viewing your apps on the home screen. iOS 14 will give you the option to view your apps as a list instead of just the existing grid view. If you have an Apple Watch, you know what I'm talking about. Except on the iPhone, you won't have to keep them in alphabetical order. Apparently, you'll be able to sort them by recently used, by pending notifications, or allow Siri to suggest a few to the top based on your location and the time. So say, for example, at 5 o'clock, it would float Spotify to the top of my list for my commute home. iMessage is also getting some notable new features, although if you're a WhatsApp user, they won't seem new at all because you've had them for a while. iOS 14 will bring mentions to group chats so you can @ someone directly, and it will bring the ability to take back a text. Okay, so it's more like erasing a text because there will still be evidence of that text message, just no text inside, kind of like what happens in WhatsApp. iPadOS will also get some interesting updates that will help bridge the gap between tablet and computer, most notably support for a mouse cursor. It will also allow for gesture controls similar to those on the trackpad of the MacBook. This means Apple will have to revisit its keyboards for the iPad to enable these features. And the code also references this: 2 new smart keyboard models, which would likely launch alongside a new iPad Pro, but more on that later. And Apple's apparently opening up PencilKit, which is exactly what it sounds like. A platform for developers to create new functions for its stylus, like the ability to turn handwritten text into typed text. The 9to5Mac report also mentioned some interesting updates to HomeKit, like night shift mode but for your home, which would change the temperature of your smart light bulbs based on the time of day, along with facial recognition features for your smart security cameras that could identify who's at the door. But what I'm still trying to wrap my head around is a rumored new fitness app. This is totally different from the existing activity app, which is already on your phone. This one would have guided workouts for things like running, cycling, rowing, strength training, dance, yoga routines, you get the picture. There are tons of fitness apps like this already, but this one could put a lot of those out of business because it's gonna be preloaded on your phone and it's gonna be free. At least that's what Mac Rumors says. They found no traces of in-app purchases. Although to me, this doesn't really rule out a subscription-based approach like Apple Music. The workouts could be accessed through your iPhone, Apple Watch, or Apple TV, depending on where you like to exercise, and then synced to your daily activity progress. So how many of you guys actually use a fitness app? Like, I have some on my phone, but I don't actually use them. And would you use an Apple fitness app? Sound off on the comment section below or join in on my Twitter poll. And in case all that information wasn't enough for you, the same bit of leaked code also included references to a bunch of new products, most of which we were already expecting thanks to the rumor mill, but this makes it more real. That iPad Pro we talked about earlier was in there with a 3-camera array like the current iPhones, and a new time-of-flight 3D sensor that would enable new augmented reality features, which are also in the works. The cheaper iPhone 9 was also referenced with Touch ID support, a new Apple TV box, and a new remote. Those high-end over-the-ear AirPods we've been hearing about, and those AirTag trackers to keep tabs on all your stuff through the Find My Everything app. Lastly, a new Apple Watch, or at the very least, some very interesting new watchOS features. According to 9to5Mac, the next Apple Watch will be able to measure your blood oxygen levels and will alert you if it dips below a certain threshold, kind of like what happens with the heart rate notifications. This could mean a Series 6 with a new SpO2 sensor. After all, Apple added electrodes to enable the EKG feature in the Series 4 and beyond, but in this case, it may be able to pull it off with the existing hardware. The Apple Watch already tracks your VO2 max during exercise or your maximum oxygen consumption just with a GPS and heart rate. We're expecting the Apple Watch to continue its health journey in 2020 with a rumored sleep tracking app as well, as noted in Mac Rumors, and more wellness coaching with that new fitness app. The code also references new parental controls on the Apple Watch and the ability to set up 2 Apple Watches in one iPhone. Say, for example, if you want to give your kid a watch, but not a brand new iPhone. The kicker? Apple might not host an event to announce these things. The coronavirus threat means Apple could be forced to cancel its rumored March event, or pretend like it never existed in the first place, and WWDC, its annual developers conference, and instead opt for a streamed keynote or press release. That's a wrap for this week.